Alright, today we'll be talking about 7-star Gamora, and I feel like honestly she is pretty dang good. However, there's like some sort of utility problem with her, I feel like, because her utility is very, very light. But for a cosmic character, she does like what cosmic characters should do. So yeah, she's a bit of like an interesting one because I feel like her damage output is just super, super strong. But the utility, while it's like lackluster in comparison to like other cosmic characters, it's still like not too bad. But yeah, this is just a quick damage test right here in 6.4.1 against his Deadpool. He has like the average Battlegrounds health pool, like a little bit less actually. But you can see that like we just get it down so fast, man. That's like 28 seconds. So yeah, she's pretty crazy in Battlegrounds, I feel like. It just depends like on the meta, of course, because she has that problem where her damage is super strong, but the utility like doesn't really cover it. So like maybe some nodes she'll be good for because just her overall like utility. But for the most part, she's a pretty strong Battlegrounds attacker, I feel like. And now this is the Gimme Shelter node. So basically, they have a chance to auto block, right? But it gets increased per buff on us. So yeah, Gamora just has a ton of buffs, and also we get an aptitude where we have like over 3 of 1 buff. So yeah, we can just get a ton of aptitudes here and then just like get a ton of damage going. And yeah, I feel like she's just perfect for this lane because she just has so many buffs, man. I think she stacks like up to 25 each. So yeah, like once she gets going, it's some pretty nice damage. And the SP2 hits so hard as well. Look at this right here. 44,000 on the last hit. It's just pretty good, man. And she just finishes the fight right there. 43,000 medium right there to end the fight. It is just, yeah, she's very good for the cosmic lanes, I feel like, because she just, like, has it all for a cosmic character. She has the buffs and she has the armor breaking. Like, that's what Kabam likes the most with cosmic characters. They also like miss counters, which, by the way, Gamora does counter miss. So, yeah, like, she's really good for these, like, act lanes because they really are tailored towards her, I feel like. So she just becomes very, very good for them. And this is how Gamora, like, is kind of relevant because while her utility isn't all that at base, Kabam puts in the nodes to make her relevant. So yeah, it's a pretty nice time for like, the people that enjoy Gamora because she is a very fun character, may I add. So yeah, if you can have fun with this character and she's still like really good like this, then yeah, it's just a very fun time. So then we dropped the SP1, 41,000 per hit, and yeah, he is down in a pretty fast amount of time. So yeah, now we have this fight, which is a Miles Morales, and this is going to show like the miss counter that she has. So I think it's when she's above 8 buffs, or like when she's at 8 buffs or above, she can counter miss completely, which is pretty dang good. 8 buffs, it's not like really hard to get with her because she gets buffed really, really easily. I'd say she's a pretty good miss counter because like she gets access to it very, very fast. Like it's just like about 10 to 12 hits on average, I'd say. And yeah, you're just gonna see that we take this fight down pretty well. Right there we have 3 buffs already. Then we have right there 6 buffs, and here I dropped the SP1. I didn't know that like you needed 8 buffs, so yeah, I kind of like did it too early, right? But now we have the miss counter active right there. It says miss failed, and now we're just chilling because we can just completely counter the miss. And the best part is when like the miss is countered initially, you just counter it for the whole entire fight because like she doesn't lose her buffs that often or like at all, to be honest. It's really hard to lose her buffs because you just need to do one heavy attack and it just like refreshes it. But yeah, I just like think she's pretty dang practical because like her utility, it's really easy to access, and also her like damage output is really practical because it's so easy to maintain her buffs with like the heavy attacks and just the really long durations. So yeah, just a pretty well made character in my opinion. I feel like she just is just good, man. Sometimes the characters are just good, and I feel like that is just what Gamora is. She's just a very good character. So yeah, here we have this same lane, Armored Assault, and Angela has her, armor up at the beginning of the fight. So yeah, starts out with Unblockable, not a fun time. Here we can just intercept her special attack. I was gonna, but I just chose not to, I guess. But yeah, you can just go for a heavy intercept after she drops the SP1, like right here, and that helps refresh her buffs. So yeah, her heavy attack also has some pretty nice like distance as well. So yeah, you can just like do that from afar. And yeah, we dropped another SP1. That was some pretty nice damage, 26,000 per hit. And yeah, things are just looking pretty good for us in this fight. Here I dropped the heavy attack once again. I'm trying about the SP2 now, and she's being like pretty annoying with it. There she goes. She drops it now finally. And yeah, now we can just go back to our SP1. I don't want to drop the SP2 here because it has a node where like if we nullify, no, it's not one to nullify. It's like whenever we try to armor break her, we take like damage, I think, or she gains power. One of the two. It's one of the two for sure. But yeah, you just don't want to armor break them basically. And yeah, we can just go for the SP1 or the SP3. The SP3 is pretty nice because it gets a True Strike, and I just love True Strike champions because it just like shreds all resistances. So yeah, you can just like do a bunch of damage against like, heavy armor nodes, heavy physical resistance nodes. And it's just a very fun time overall. And now we have this War Machine, which is on this Cosmic Path, which is pretty much made for Gamora once more. So basically, every 10 hits, you get like a falter on you. But if you like have a lot of buffs, you have a chance to trigger Vigilance, right? But even if we don't trigger it, she has her base miss mechanic. So yeah, it's just like, she's definitely one of the best for these lanes because of her own utility. And yeah, it just becomes a pretty fun time. So yeah, this War Machine is kind of annoying because of its tankiness, and this also has Counter Strike. So basically, if you dex 5 times, they go unblockable for like a pretty long time. And yeah, War Machine with unblockable, that doesn't really bode well, man. So I'm just trying to avoid that at all costs because I do not want to deal with an unblockable War Machine. But yeah, we're starting to hit pretty hard already. Like, we're doing 30-something thousand mediums. It is a pretty nice time here. I keep triggering Dex on accident. 48,000 there in that heavy attack final hit, which is pretty nice because, there was 2 other hits to go along with that. And yeah, the fight is just over from here. We dropped SP1, and that just finishes it off in a pretty good amount of time. So yeah, now we have this Iceman here, which Gamora is not cold snap immune. So yeah, we'll be taking a lot of damage here at the beginning of the fight. But once that settles down, then it becomes a pretty straightforward fight. But yeah, Iceman, I think he got buffed, and I think the cold snap damage got buffed too on the signature ability. So yeah, watch out for that because he just like shreds through your health if you don't have a cold snap counter. Because man, that was a lot of damage right there that we took. And here I'm just trying to get some Fury passives, but he's playing really passive, funny enough. So we can just bait up this SP2. Don't want to trigger Dex because he'll go unblockable. And like, unblockable Iceman, not as bad as unblockable War Machine, but it's still a pretty bad time in my opinion. So yeah, here we go. We dropped the SP2. Now we have one more hit till we get the miss on us, so we can just counter that and get Fury passives from it. And yeah, now we're chilling. We have a lot of Fury passives now, and we have our own Fury buffs built up, so we can just do a lot of damage, thankfully. And now he just goes for the SP1. We drop the SP2 right here after a combo, and yeah, it is more than enough right here. 66,000, 89,000 on the final hit. It is just a very fun time. And now we have this Punisher on this Scrap Wars lane, and this one's pretty interesting because the node gives like a lot of armor breaks, but in like the later half of the fight, we have to use our own to like maintain our armor ups and like not let him go unblockable. So this is the Scrap Wars lane. So basically, whenever we trigger an armor break on the opponent, we get an armor up. This also has dress code, so like if we don't have an armor up, he'll go unblockable completely, and also has crumbling armor as well. So like those are the things to look out for. But you're gonna see here, the Cosmic Fracture lane is also pretty good because it helps like. It just helps give us the armor breaks that we need. But here we dropped SP2, so now he's no longer unblockable. And yeah, that just like saved us there. If she didn't have armor break at all, we'd be like completely done for. But thankfully, she does have armor break on the SP2. So yeah, it's a pretty nice utility piece. And they last a very long time, man. Like they are going still. They have a pretty long duration. So yeah, it's a pretty fun time there. Here he just drops some light attacks. And yeah, now he's armor broken once more. We dropped SP1, and that is just enough to end the fight. And now we have Eternity of Pain, which is the finale of this video. So this is Eternity of Pain Havoc, and it's a pretty like annoying fight because it has we have an armor up on the parry, right? But if we dex, it gets removed, and yeah, that's just not a fun time for Havoc, right? You also can't power drain him or like control his power in any way. So yeah, the only way to control his like charges is just by tanking the plasma detonations with an armor up like buff active, right? So yeah, this fight, it's pretty fun. It's because the simplicity of the fight. Basically, you still want to like dex, right? And then it's just like fair game with like anything else. So yeah, Gamora, pretty good for the fight because like she's just really simple in that sense. Like she doesn't need any certain rotation or anything. You just need to have damage, and she has damage. So yeah, we're just chilling there. We lose some buffs here because we didn't go for the heavy attack, which is unfortunate. I get hit right there as well. So yeah, not a great start, but once we get going, it becomes a pretty simple fight. Here I dropped the heavy attack once more. I dropped the SP2. Some not good damage because we just we had a rough start, man. We had a rough start to this fight, but yeah, we're just gonna try to just recover here at this point because it's not going too well for us so far. Also, Havoc has reduced crit damage on him, so basically you'll just do less damage overall. So yeah, this isn't her maximum damage potential at all because it is reduced by quite a bit. So yeah, here we just want to be at the SP2. and we don't have too many detonations on us just yet, so we can just, play it slow. I also picked this fight because it's like a high health, high stress situation. So I just want to see how practical she is in these situations, right? Because her like heavy attack buff refresh is pretty easy to access, but you just can't always access it, right? There's always gonna be like some problematic nodes that like prevent that from happening. So I just want to see how she did in this fight where there's like a lot of nodes coming at her, and she did quite well. I feel she did quite well. She's like pretty good at like just handling these nodes. Like there is a lot of stuff going on here, but she can still get her rotation down pretty easily. So yeah, there's just nothing to worry about. Her rotation is like kind of non-existent, right? It's just like do damage, do a heavy attack, drop the SP2 or like whichever special attack you want. And yeah, that's what I like about the character. Her simplicity, man. Her simplicity kind of saves her sometimes. And that's great. There's a lot of simple characters that are really dang good. For example, OG Hulk, who is just like the king of being simple and being like a crazy good character. By the way, I think Gamora's a great 7-star. I think Hulk is still the best one. So yeah, sorry, but I just had to say it. Man. I haven't said it in a while, so yeah, I had to let people know that Hulk is the best 7-star. So yeah, here I dropped SP2 once again, and yeah, the damage is looking pretty nice now. We are just chilling. We have a lot of damage on us right now. We have a lot of buffs, and they still have some pretty nice duration. We have 22 Furies right now, so yeah, we're doing some pretty decent damage. If it wasn't like further reduced crit damage rating from Havoc's abilities, then we'd be just like doing so much more damage. And yeah, the fight's just almost down. We can just go for like one more SP2, and then that'll be the end of the fight. So here we drop it. Okay, now we drop it after this. And then yeah, the fight is just done. And that wraps up this fight and also wraps up this video as well. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on 7-star Gamora. For me personally, I feel like she's a pretty dang good character. She has easy damage access, and it's very, very fast as well. She has some decent utility. I feel like her utility is lacking, of course, but it's still like not too bad overall. And she's just pretty good for like cosmic dedicated lane. So yeah, a pretty fun time with Gamora. And so yeah, that's about it for me.